365. He dropped at 311, so that would have been 354. So really, probably about 20 points. There was something going on within sizing here in the red states. So he's looking at about 20 points or 20 votes that if any of these states flip, and depending on congressional sizing or redistricting, there could be a problem with the president, with the Democrats maintaining the White House. So of course we already know that Ms. Clinton did not succeed against Vice President Trump in 2016. But let's look at what happened in 2016. Let's look at, we know that there were some states that had to flip from blue to red in order for President or former President Trump to win. So the first state I see is here, Wisconsin. Wisconsin went, let's see, is that Wisconsin? Yeah. Wisconsin went from a blue state in both 2008 and in 2012 to 2016. They said, no, we're going Republican, right? In 2016. Let's look at Indiana. Indiana remained a red state in 2016. Now, again, if we look at 2016, if we go back to 2008, so it's still the same. It was 11 votes. I thought Indiana had 10 votes. Indiana actually had 11 votes. So Wisconsin flipped from blue to red. Again, Wisconsin was blue in 2008, and Wisconsin was blue in 2012. But in 2016, Wisconsin said, no. We're going red in 2016. Another state, Michigan. Michigan actually had 16 electoral votes. That was big. Now remember, Wisconsin had 10, Michigan had 16. So Wisconsin flipped and Michigan flipped. 2008, Michigan had 17 votes and they were Democrat. 2012, Wisconsin had 16 votes and they voted Democrat. But in 2016, Michigan had 16 votes and they went Republican. Now, what this is telling me here is, if I look at 2008 at Wisconsin, they voted for a winner. If I look at 2012 for Wisconsin, let me see, 2008 for Michigan, they voted Democrat and the president won. 2008 Wisconsin voted Democrat and the president won. 2008 Michigan voted blue. They voted for the president and the president won. 2008 Wisconsin voted blue for the president and the president won. 2016 Michigan voted red, for the president and the president won. 2016 Wisconsin voted red for the president and the president won. Okay. Those are indicators, man. Those are indicators, and whether we want to believe it or not, I mean, whether you believe in superstition or not, I mean, the numbers don't lie. Michigan and Wisconsin, whoever they vote for, the president has won. Now, in 2008, Ohio voted blue, and the president won. But in 2012, Ohio voted blue, and the president. In 2008 and in 2012, Ohio voted blue and the president won. In 2016, Ohio voted red and the president won. So now the trend keeps going. Wisconsin, the last three elections, 2008, 12, and 16. Michigan, 2008, 12, and 16. Ohio, 2008, 12, and 16, they voted for the president, and the president won. Now, if you can remember, when we talked about the 2008 elections, and we said, hey, there was something big for Obama to grab the whole Northeast corridor, for President Obama to win the whole Northeast corridor and come back up to Minnesota. And, he pretty much grabbed that whole area. So, as we were saying, if we remember in the 2008 election, President Obama carried the whole Northeast corridor down in the V shape and came back up to Minnesota, where he lost in 2012. He lost Indiana, which knocked out that Northeast corridor. Well, not necessarily knocked out the Northeast corridor, but knocked out the V shape. But if we look here in the 2016 election, remember in 2012 we said, hey, in order for Miss Clinton to guarantee herself a victory, she needed to win the same states that President Obama won in 2012. That would allow her not to have to win the Indiana vote, but it would still keep a fairly close election. Well, in 2016, remember President Obama swept this Northeast corridor, came down in the V shape and back up to Minnesota. But in 2016, Miss Clinton did lose Pennsylvania. Miss Clinton did lose Pennsylvania. And Miss Clinton did lose Ohio. Indiana was already kind of tricky, but Pennsylvania kind of needed Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania's 20 votes. Now we know that we were looking somewhere at a 20 vote swing between 2008 and 2012, just with losing Indiana for President Obama. So that Pennsylvania vote was heavy. Pennsylvania carried 20 votes. Ohio carried 38. That was a problem. Pennsylvania and Ohio, that was a problem, right? At that point, when Pennsylvania came in at 20 and Ohio came in at 18, 38 votes, it was pretty much good night for Miss Clinton. Then we come up to Michigan. Michigan was 16 votes. Again, we're looking at 2008. We're looking at 2008, where President Obama claimed Pennsylvania and Ohio. And in 2012, he claimed Pennsylvania and Ohio, but he didn't claim Indiana. But he claimed Pennsylvania, Ohio, and Michigan. Here in 2016, Miss Obama lost, or Vice President or former President Trump won Pennsylvania, Ohio, and Michigan. That flip right there was enough to turn the tail of the election. That was pretty much enough to turn the election. Pennsylvania at 20 votes, Ohio at 18, and Michigan at 16, 38, 48. That's 54 votes right there. It became a problem. Now, if we look, just comparing the other states outside of the corridor, all of these states, when I say the corridor, I'm talking about the Northeast, and it looks as if Mr. Former President Trump flipped Florida. So he flipped Florida, which was 29 votes. Pennsylvania, which was 20. Ohio, which was 18. Michigan, which was 16. And Wisconsin, which was 10. So if we look at the previous elections, from Arizona up to Idaho, up to Montana, everything in the middle, over to North Dakota, down to Texas, over to Louisiana, up to Missouri, and sweeping the South, with the exception of Florida, all of that was blue. All of that was blue. Everything else was blue. All the states I just called out were red. So these states are pretty consistent. if we look at these three maps.